Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today we're going to play a little game called What's in the Bag? So this is a bag. Maybe you can hear the rattles in it because it's full of baits. And I found some pretty cool baits today at a local antique shop that I was just using to kill some time while I was having new tires put on my truck. You know, if you're a touring professional angler, you probably change your tires more than pretty much almost anybody else. I have to do it, I would say, on almost an annual basis. When you put 40 or 50,000 miles on your truck, towing a boat around the country, you tend to go through tires pretty quick. And in my case, I'm kind of lucky because there happens to be this little antique mall that's across from the tire repair place that I could go kill some time, and I found some cool baits. So we're going to go through the baits that I found that were in this bag. Let me know in the comment section if you think I should have passed on it, or maybe I got a good deal. I'd like to hear from you. I'll tell you what I paid for them, tell you what I know about the baits, why I like them, and I just love adding to the collection. I also, while we're talking about baits, I want to let you guys know too that we got another small shipment of the Bass Tricks Hover Tricks in on our website. So that's the soft plastic minnow bait that was designed around the hover rig, the 3/0 size specifically. It's one of the most lifelike looking minnows that I've used. It has great dying motion, gliding, spiraling motion on the fall with the hover rig. And we don't have many. We got our second shipment in. I think this is probably going to be it in terms of when the baits are gone, they're gone. Maybe we'll bring them out in the future, but they were meant to be basically a limited release. Feedback's been great, and I know the website's been sold out for, I'm going to say probably close to a month. I'd have to look specifically to know exactly how long, but the point is we've got a few packs of each color in, so if you want them, I highly advise going to check them out. I'll put the link in the video description for those if you're interested. But for now, let's see what's in the box, or the bag, I should say. Now, I'm going to try to pull these out individually. They're probably going to come out, well, I thought they were going to come out all in one big group. They didn't. First one, right here. Are you guys familiar with this one? Fat-free Fingerling. The Bill Dance label on it. These have a pretty hardcore following. They're discontinued now. I was happy to see this one. It's just a really good shad color. It's kind of a Tennessee shad. I don't know the exact name offhand. I paid $3.50 for it. So I think that was a pretty good deal. This is one of those baits that, I mean, I don't know when it came out. I'm going to say in the 90s. Probably in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Hasn't been made for a while now, but it's got a pretty good following. I've caught a pile of fish on them. Lots of smallmouth, really good bait size. I like the Fingerling size. I'm not as big on the bigger sizes. I've just had much more action on these on the smaller sizes. So the fat-free Fingerling, the Bill Dance, can't go wrong with that. Let's see. Okay. Next up. So this is one that I just happen to like. I don't really know much about it. It's the, looks like the Cordell Crazy Shad. It's a little prop style bait. I paid $3.29 for it, and it's in great shape. I have really become a big fan of your prop style baits. Now, this to me is an amazing looking bluegill color, so that was one of the reasons I liked it. I really like the prop style baits for fishing around the pre-spawn and post-spawn period for largemouth, and I like it year-round for river smallmouth. The props in rivers are really good because a lot of times you can just hold the bait still and the props will spin, and it just seems to work great for smallmouth. But I really liked the color pattern on this more than anything. The size is nice. I've never used one before. This is the first one I own. It's a Cordell Crazy Shad. Not sure when it was made. This doesn't look like it's super old based on the paint scheme, but I don't know if they're still made today or not, but I still bought one. All right, let's see. I got to shake one out here. hooks are getting caught in the keychains. I actually bought the boys each a keychain. These are just 3D printed fish keychains. They like to put them on their book bags, so I bought a couple of those, and they're getting caught in the hooks. Okay, next up, if I can get it out, it's caught in another tag. Having these long rope tags is not great either. A lot of you guys probably familiar with this guy. This is a Rattland Wrap. This is the number 5 size. On the bill, we're looking at made in Ireland. Just another fish catching producer that I've got a pile of, but it's hard for me to pass up a good fat wrap, whether it's the balsa version or the Rattland Wraps. Another really good standard color. This is just the Shad color. I paid $3.29. $3.29. If you were to go buy a new Rapala in the stores right now, you're probably looking at like $8. So, and this one's in beautiful shape. Beautiful shape. Just that is a bait that I've caught an absolute pile of bass on over the years. I always think back to David Fritz winning a Kentucky, I think he won it, a Kentucky lake event where he was catching them fishing grass on the north end of the lake. Imagine that. Okay, next up, let me get this other 3D printed keychain out of the way. The big Storm PreRapa Lightning Shad. This is the big deep diver. This thing has got a pretty good cult following as well. They sell for pretty decent online. So I paid, this was maybe the most expensive bait that I paid. I paid $6.95. They've actually got it labeled Bagley Rattland Deep Diver. So it was mislabeled, but it's a big Storm PreRapa. This, I think, was the last Storm bait made prior to the Rapala purchase. But this thing has got, like I said, a good following. It's a very good deep diver. I've caught a lot of nice fish on it. I've got a handful of these. Just one of those baits when I see them, I like to buy them. $6.95. I don't want to pay too much more than that. Occasionally, if you find the right buyer, you can get up to like $20 a pop, 15, 20 bucks. But overall, a good one. This one is probably the one I'm most excited about. So I am a fan of antique baits. I've got a large collection of them. I've studied since I was probably 15. I've studied old antique lure books. So when I see one, I generally know what they are. This is one I saw, and I did not know offhand what it was, but I really liked the color on it. So it's kind of that strawberry pink, and then it's got like nice chrome scale pattern on it. But what I was more intrigued by was the cup hook hangers on it. So there's a lot of baits out there like the old creek chubs that have cup hook hangers, but this is a cup hook hanger that's also got kind of an arm with a screw lock like you'd find on, you know, some of the other company baits. So I was a little confused when I saw it. I had to do some searching around, and honestly what tuned me into what it was I was looking at the eyes and I'm like, that's a bomber bait. Like, it looks like a bomber eyes on it. And what I found was it's a bomber baits jerk. It's an old school antique bomber. It's probably one of the early bomber baits made. I don't know that I've ever seen one before. And I picked this one up for $8.50. So this was the most expensive bait. The little bit of looking around I saw does show that they sell for more like in that $20 range. But it's just a cool bait. I love the pattern on it. I love the hook hangers on it. Just unique style design. You know, you have the butt end here where generally you'd have a hook coming out there. They just have it capped off with a little metal cap, but I like it. I like it a lot. Don't know what it'll do. I think it's just like an underwater jerk bait, kind of a glide bait style bait, but just a neat one. Not complaining. Then I found this guy. So this is another one that a lot of people I think would look at and they wouldn't know exactly what it is. But this is, again, an old Storm bait. This was pre-Rapala. And it's kind of, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's a thunder stick, because I was looking at it kind of from the side. And then when I actually grabbed it and looked at it, I was like, no, that's a shallow stick. So the shallow stick is kind of a mix, in my opinion, between what they had. They had a bait called the Shallow Mac, which was a bigger, bulkier bait, and then they had their thunder stick. So to me, this is the hybrid that they made, that was a cross between the Shallow Mac and the thunder stick. And it's a kind of a harder to find storm bait. It's in great condition. It doesn't look like it's ever been used. I don't think there were a whole pile of these made. I've never actually fished one myself. I do own one other one, but I paid $5.50 for it. I figured that would be a hard one to pass up. And even if I wanted to use it down the road, I could see it being a really good wake bait on the surface. So I was happy to find that one as well. I think that was it. Nope, we got one more. Oh, this is a good one. So this is one a lot of people haven't heard of either. Now this goes back, I bought one way back when through the Bassmaster or the Bass Pro catalog. You know, I studied that thing religiously as well. I could tell you where every bait was on every page of that magazine. That was kind of before internet, online purchasing. And I remember when this first came out. So this is a Bill Lewis bait called the Slapstick. I think a lot of people probably have never seen one. I don't know if a lot of people have used them, but for whatever reason, what stood out to me is I'm going to say probably 15-year-old. So this is probably 25 years old. It's a jerk bait that when sitting still in the water, sits upright like that. It sits at an angle, and that's how they advertised it in the Bass Pro magazine. And for whatever reason, so during that time frame as a child, I used to like to take floating Rapalas and floating minnow baits and twitch them on the surface. And I caught a lot of fish doing that. And I thought, man, this would be really good to let sit on the surface and twitch it and then have it go back. And I used it, caught a bunch of fish on it. This is actually the exact color that I bought. That's chrome with a blue back. I have no idea where it is now. I actually looked for it not too long ago because I was in a discussion about this bait and I was trying to find it to show somebody. Never found it. So I don't know if I ended up losing it at some point when I was fishing with it. Probably hung it in a tree or something like that. But when I saw this, I was like, I gotta buy this because you don't run across many of them. And I paid $3.27 for this. And it's not a labeled bait, so you wouldn't know what it is unless you know what you're looking at. But it's a Bill Lewis Slapstick. Pretty cool baits. I was pretty happy to find these just sitting there. And the interesting thing to me is I feel like I've been in that antique shop a lot of times over the years. And I always feel like I go look at the baits and it's the same baits that are hanging there. And I very rarely buy anything. And this time I went in there and it was like a complete overhaul of the baits that were in that guy's booth. So pretty happy to find it. I think in total I spent, it was about 30, where's the final? Pre-tax, with tax. It was $40.30 with the 2 keychains, which I paid $1.95 for. So the baits themselves cost 35 bucks. Not too bad for a total of 7 baits that are all discontinued, every one of them. So that comes out to about $5 a bait. I'll take that. I'm happy to add them to my collection. Let me know in the comment section, what are some of the cool baits that you have found over the years at a garage sale or at a flea market? I'd love hearing from you guys as well. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned, new video coming out tomorrow.